Yes, hello, hi, hello there. How are you doing? Good Tuesday. Happy hot news. That's what we're going with. Yes, existential question of the day. If a cyclops closes its eye, is it a wink or is it a blink? Need answers, okay? Is it a wink or a blink?
How
does the cyclops do this? Is it intentions? Is that what matters behind a wink or a blink? Is that still a wink? Huh? If my intention is that winking or is that just a fierce blink, huh? We gotta establish some ground rules on what's going on with Cyclops, winking, blinking. Let me know down below. And down below is where you can find the link for today's video sponsor. Big thanks to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring today's video. They sent over the Ultimate Shave Starter Set, and by golly, this thing has been amazing for all the shaving that I've needed to do. I don't grow a beard in very fast, so I only shave my face every couple of days. I shave my head more regularly, and the Ultimate Shave Starter Set has helped me out tremendously. You've got the executive handle, you got 6 high-quality blades on this that make for a smooth, clean shave. You also have several different other things that help get the whole shave experience going. You have the 1-ounce tube of Dr. Carver's Prep Scrub for exfoliating those dead skin cells. You got the 1-ounce tube of Dr. Carver's Shave Butter for transparent and more precise shave. Helps get rid of those razor bumps, and I can't tell you how much I like getting rid of razor bumps on my bald head. The Dr. Carver Shave Butter is my favorite part of this. It just makes this shave so smooth. I have to tell you, before I got the Dollar Shave Club stuff, I shave my head like a savage. I just do it in the shower, I get it wet, and I just go straight for it. I didn't realize how ridiculous that is and how much nicer my life could be with the Dr. Carver Shave Butter. Then you also have a couple of post-shave options. You got the Dr. Carver's Post-Shave Dew. They also sent me the Dr. Carver's Post-Shave Cream, the 3-ounce bottle. This is it's sold separately typically from the starter set, but it helps keep my head moisturized and protected from dryness all the time. When I'm out for a run, when it's really cold and the humidity just drops, my head stops being dry, stays hydrated. Visit the link in the video description, dollarshaveclub.com/UFD Tech. You can get the Ultimate Shave Starter Set for only $5 and round out your grooming routine by adding any of their other high quality products. And after that, the restock box ships with full size products at regular price. It's changed my shaving habits. It's changed my head. Most people use this for their face. I have a baby face and I also have baby follicles that don't grow beard hair, unfortunately. But Dollar Shave Club helps to make sure that my bald head stays very fresh. Check it out at the link in the video description. Get your Ultimate Shave Starter Set now. Let's go ahead and jump on into the hot news, which is about Nvidia. They've lost more and more and more. They keep losing. You know that phrase, it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission? Despite the dubious ethical nature of that in a lot of scenarios in life where you absolutely should get permission first, it also appears that Nvidia probably should have asked for permission from a lot of the game publishers that are featured on their GeForce Now site, because they are continuing to pull their games from Nvidia's service. It first started off with Blizzard and Activision pulling things like Overwatch as well as other games. Then Bethesda also pulled some games, and now it appears that there are more companies dropping them off, which is Xbox Game Studios, which the most notable one there is Cuphead right now, but Xbox Game Studios is ramping up to have more games. That's one of the big things behind them. Warner Brothers, so we're losing a lot of Arkham games there, as well as several others. Codemasters, which includes Dirt, and then Klei Entertainment are also removing all of their games from GeForce Now as of this Friday. So game publishers just don't want to have their games on there, whether it's because they want to get a cut of the pie from Nvidia, which doesn't make any sense because they have already made the sale to the people, and all Nvidia is doing is providing the hardware and not actually distributing games. I'm not quite sure what their motivations are. Nvidia is saying that they hope to have them back on their platform soon, but considering how many games have been re-added that have been taken off, it doesn't seem like Nvidia is too fierce on the negotiation there. However, they did commit that they are working to bring over 1,500 more games to the service. A lot of that is probably like Ubisoft's back catalog, who still fully supports GeForce Now, as well as Epic Games has recommitted their support to GeForce Now. But Nvidia GeForce Now losing more publishers and making it look like, well, maybe this isn't the future of gaming, even though it's actually a really, really cool service. Don't have enough for a gaming PC? Well, you get to play for free on really high-end hardware. All you have to do is deal with a little stream lag, which, I mean, you're not paying for the computer, you just have to buy the game. I think it makes a lot of sense. Game publishers want more. or I mean, the demands haven't been made public. If somebody can find me a list of the demands that these companies are making and what they want in order to return to the service, maybe I could understand a little bit better. But right now, it just feels like a cash grab by the companies who are already getting a cut of the game. Nvidia's not selling the game. That's the part I don't understand. If it's Stadia, sure, they would want a cut of the game since Nvidia has a storefront. GeForce Now has no storefront. Nvidia doesn't sell the game. If you buy a game on Steam, you can play it on GeForce Now. You bought it through Steam. So the game publisher, the game developer, they already got their cash. This isn't some shady thing that's going on. It's just basically almost like you're going to an internet cafe online. It's a virtual internet cafe.
Welcome to at cafe, as in that little A with a circle around it.
But when I go to an internet cafe and I log in with my Steam account, I'm not then stopped from playing that game on that internet cafe computer because I already own the freaking game. I don't know, that's just me. But good joke in this time of Brett getting angry. Somebody tweeted this out. This is only for South Africans who know South African lingo. Apparently, GeForce's cloud gaming service has a localized version in South Africa. It's called GeForce Now. This is hilarious if you're from South Africa. Maybe Jayson will disagree, but Reece finds it funny. While Nvidia might be losing when it comes to GeForce Now, they are at least gaining when it comes to their employees during this whole Voldemort stuff that's going on right now. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang releasing a letter to their employees stating nobody's being laid off. There's no furloughing happening, no retrenchments going on. Everything is staying the same. In fact, they're going to be expediting pay raises to people who already had those in the pipeline, making sure that people are making more money. So Nvidia choosing to keep their people happy, which there are some people who are saying, well, this is just a PR move because if they don't keep them happy, they're going to go work for somebody else. Sure. But they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to say anything. Sure, it's a PR move. They could have just let everybody wonder about their job status and whether or not they're gonna get laid off or have their money taken away. Nvidia still doing well in all of this. The servers are still up, obviously, and Nvidia makes a lot of money from servers. Servers are running the entire world, so Nvidia's still world domination going on. So hopefully, if you work for Nvidia, you feel safe. Although I don't know why anybody who works for Nvidia would watch this video. I don't know. But let's go ahead and shift gears on over to AMD because we've got some more information about the upcoming Ryzen 3 3100 and 3300X, and that is namely in the price. There's been some leaked pricing from a retailer showing basically what I would want it to be, which is the 3300X would start at $120, which is not bad, and then the 3100 would be $104, which again, not bad for a lower end Zen 2 chip. That seems phenomenal for me. It's not clear whether or not this is tray pricing or retail pricing, but even if it is tray pricing, it's going to be a little higher at retail. This is still some really good pricing for lower end chips. I'm absolutely agreeable with this. But speaking of lower end chips, somehow laptops. MSI has announced the Bravo 15 and Bravo 17, which are going to be one of the very first laptops to feature both Ryzen 4000 CPUs and Navi graphics. Going to have a 4800H for the CPU and an RX 5500M on the GPU, so it makes it so that it has both, which in case you don't remember, MSI also had the Alpha 15, which was the world's first 7nm laptop. Speaking of 7 nanometers, this has nothing to do with 7 nanometers because it's actually 12 nanometers, but it's 12 nanometers from a 14 nanometer chip because the Ryzen 3 1200 AF apparently is going to exist. There's some pricing out there, and just like the Ryzen 5 1600 AF, which costs $85 and is essentially a Ryzen 5 2600 in performance, that's what we're expecting from this Ryzen 3 1200. So it does still have a place in the market, even with a Ryzen 3 3100 coming out for about $100 to $110. The 1200 AF is looking to retail for about $60. Phenomenal, okay? You got $60 for the 1200 AF, $85 for the 1600 AF, 3100 goes for $100 to $110, 3300X goes for $120 to $150, then you got the Ryzen 5 3600 going for like $175. You've got basically all of your bases covered from under $100 all the way up. I mean, why would you buy Intel at this point? I don't see it. I don't see it. When AMD's stacking the deck this hard, who can stand? Well, in case you do have an Intel chip, you might want to check out this company who just released their new lapping tools for Intel's dies and IHSs. Nude CNC came out with a couple of videos showing off their die and IHS rubber thing. to lap it down to make it so that you get an even spread. In case you're not familiar with the process of lapping your CPU, basically it's to remove all of the bumps and grinds that are like minute on the actual integrated heat spreader on the CPU, and that way you get more direct contact with the actual cooler that you place on it, and thereby you would assume better temperatures. A lot of people would think that this isn't worth the risk, but in case you do, there's a new tool available for that. But talking about more Intel stuff, there's more leaked benchmarks of the i7-10700K and the i5-10600K, and it turns out it's, again, exactly where we would expect it to. The Intel wins in single core performance against the 3800X. The 3800X beats the comparable one in multi-core. So AMD better in certain, Intel better in certain. It's really, again, going to come down to pricing with Intel's new launch. But as we talked about yesterday, Intel's motherboards, stupid expensive. Not sure what, it's like you could get a B450 and a 3700X for the same price as it's going to cost you to get a Z490. But we also talked about yesterday about how Samsung is fast tracking their 160 layer NAND production. Well, it turns out that the company that may have sparked that a little bit, probably not, but YMTC, which is China's memory manufacturer, has now announced a new deal with Lexar to produce NAND for their products. However, Lexar is apparently not the company that I thought it was, because back in 2017, Micron sold Lexar to another Chinese company. I didn't know that happened. Now a Chinese NAND producer is producing NAND for another Chinese company, so makes sense. Kingston has announced a new set of HyperX headphones, which are honestly phenomenally priced, if I do say so myself. They have a new set of HyperX Stinger headphones, the Cloud Stinger Core and the Cloud Stinger Core Wireless, which, with my experience with HyperX's headsets, they're actually really reasonably good, and it turns out that the Core wired version is going to come in at a $60 MSRP, whereas the wireless is going to go for $80 MSRP, which is a pretty decent price for a wireless gaming headset. I'm not expecting this to be a price that I'm willing to spend, which is Seagate announced the new Cyberpunk 2077 external game drive for Xbox, and it looks exactly like the Cyberpunk Xbox, which I think is ugly, by the way, and it's going to come in 2 and 5 terabyte sizes for $90 and $150. I don't like it. I think it's ugly. I disagree. And I also don't understand the point of getting an external game drive that's a hard drive. Doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you get an SSD? Maybe because your USB can't handle it. I don't know. Then install a USB. Oh, right. That's right. Microsoft makes it very difficult to install a new drive on your Xbox, whereas Sony's just plug and play with any SSD you can pick up off of a retail shelf. Speaking of retail shelf, Canon might have a new mirrorless camera coming out to the retail shelf. And by might, I mean they will. And they announced a few new specs of the EOS R5, which is going to be able to shoot 8K uncropped, as well as 4K video at 120 frames per second. You're going to get dual focus auto, 4K 60 FPS. It's going to have a ton of features, no known record time of 8K, so you don't know what that is. They also haven't announced a price, so you don't know how much this is going to cost. But given how slow Canon has been to produce a video camera mirrorless that actually makes sense to purchase, and given the fact that how disconnected they seem to be from the progressing forwardness of like YouTubers with their cameras, I'm gonna say this is gonna come in at like $6,000. That might be too pricey. 4 to 6, somewhere in there. They're just gonna be absolutely ridiculous. There's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna pick it up because they're in the Canon ecosystem and they already have all the Canon lenses, so it makes sense to pick this up. But I'm not even gonna come anywhere near this thing unless it's priced under $2,000, which even then, it's not as good because Canon has like weird interfaces for live streaming where the HDMI out, it's not as clean as Sony's. Anyways, that's not the only camera news that we have. Panasonic's S1H, which is Netflix certified, has announced that they're gonna finally support Apple's ProRes RAW, which is kind of cool. In case you missed the news earlier, Premiere on Windows now supports ProRes, so you can work on that too as well. But while we're on the topics of cameras and eyes somehow seeing things, basically is the idea. Samsung has apparently said that they're working to make a sensor that can sense more pixels than the human eye, because the human eye apparently has like a 500 megapixel resolution. So Samsung said they're working on 600. They have a 600 megapixel sensor in the works for their phones. Yeah, right? And I think, in case you don't remember, it's not the amount of pixels you have. It's how you use them and the sensor size, okay? It's not the size of the boat, but the motion of the ocean, my friends. And sometimes the motion of my finger ocean makes it so that I exit out of Netflix. This is a weird segue. And Netflix is adding a new feature on Android which allows you to do screen lock, which means you don't do accidental button presses to pause it or skip forward or anything like that. You actually have to like tap and then hit yes, I actually want to interact with my screen. So this will prevent you from like screwing up your Netflix binge series while you're in bed. But you might be in bed playing this next game, which is Super Mario 3D World for the Switch, because it just got listed at Best Buy for a full retail price of $60, which a lot of people very much disagree with since it's a remake of a very old game, and it's not a $60 game from as much as I can gather. But you know what else isn't worth $60? Stadia. I wouldn't pay $60 for it. Thankfully, they gave me another 2 free months because I don't have to complain about it again until they make me pay for it again. Anyways, the new Stadia update separates their 4K ability from your streaming quality. This is a weird one, but typically there was a 4K indicator under your connection strength, and you needed excellent connection in order to play at 4K. However, they've separated that, and now you can still play at 4K if you're on fair or bad. You just you have to downscale that. So it's not the same. It doesn't represent the same thing anymore. They separated that, which is good. And that's your little Stadia update for today. And this is going to be my update on the existential question of the day. Cyclopses. They close their eye. Is it a wink or is it a blink? Is it about intent, like Reece said? But is this a wink? I am aggressively blinking at you? I don't know. And I also don't know how I got by without today's video sponsor. Don't forget, Dollar Shave Club. Check out their Ultimate Shave Starter Set at the link in the video description. Use our link. You'll get it for only $5 to get it started and realize maybe what you're missing out on in your grooming routines. Because I was missing a lot. And I was a savage. Now I'm still savagely, at least. No longer savage full. That's gonna be it. Hot news. Don't forget to check us out every day. Hot News Live, twitch.tv/UF Disciple. Check us out there. Good, thanks. Appreciate you. Bye. Reset.